In round 2 of the Women's Blitz Chess Championship in Monaco, I was facing a very strong chess player. I was playing against woman grandmaster Mitra Hejazipour, who had won the French Women's Championship in 2023 and who was just simply a very strong player who I also lost against in the Chess Olympiad last year. So I knew that this was going to be a very tough game. I mean, she was rated over 2,300 in ELO. So I kind of smiled when she came, we shook hands, and then she had brought her coffee or something, and we were getting ready to start the game. Now the game was a 3-minute game, so the time control was very short. We got 2 seconds per move, and I was very focused from early on because I knew that this was going to be tough. So we waited a little bit, and then after that, we shook hands and I started the clock. She started with the move knight f3, which is a very flexible move where she's not really saying what she's gonna do. And I went d5. She played b3 and I was thinking a little bit, but I ended up playing c5. She went e3 and I played knight c6. She played bishop b2 and I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I mean, so far it was only about getting out my pieces in a good way. I simply brought out my knight. By the way, if you're seeing the t-shirt that I'm wearing, this polo, it's actually from my mom's chess team. My mom plays for the Monte Carlo team in Monaco, and this is the t-shirt that she wears, and the captain of the team very kindly gave me one of those t-shirts before the start of the first round. So I was rocking my mom's chess team's t-shirt or polo, and I thought that was so cool. Anyway, she went d4 and I played bishop g4, pinning the knight, and after she brought out her bishop, I went e6, and now basically all of the development was complete. I had to just get out my bishop very soon and then castle. That was everything I had to do, but I was very happy and comfortable in this position. So I went bishop e7, I was getting ready to castle, and she was probably coming up with some plan. So she went knight d2, and I was quite sure that I was just simply gonna castle, and now the opening was done and it was time for us to get into the middle game. I also really loved her earrings. I kept thinking about it during the game that she had the coolest earrings and like the coolest outfit. And I really liked it. And you can't see me thinking about it, but whenever she was thinking, I was kind of thinking about it. She played c4. And now I had to kind of consider what is happening in the center. Should I take something? Should I let it be? Should I start my own plans on the queen side? What should I do here? That was my point of concern. I spent quite a lot of time thinking here, and at this point she had a full minute more than me. I ended up capturing her d4 pawn, and after she took back, I wasn't sure if I wanted to take on c4 as well, or if I wanted to let the position be. This was the kind of position I really wished I was playing in classical because it was so interesting and there were so many different things I was thinking about. I was even considering going a5 and a4 here. I ended up playing knight e4, which is a good move. And the idea was that if she takes and I take back, I thought that her knight would have to go to a very random position to not drop the d4 pawn. She played h3, threatening my bishop, and I now had to make a choice. Should I take the knight or should I move my bishop? But she was playing in a very practical way where she was making moves quite fast just so that I would have to make a choice. I played bishop h5 because I wanted to keep the tension in the position. She was now taking her own time to think about all the exchanges that could happen here. And she ended up playing the move knight e5. I decided to trade my bishops. And after she took back, I thought, okay, wait a second. Can I take on d2 and then just trade everything? Now, I think it might have been better for me to take first on e5, because basically my point was that I wanted to take, so that after queen takes, I can go knight takes e5 and then take on c4. But now she had this intermediate move where she could take on c6 first. And so, therefore, I think that maybe it would have been better for me to take the other knight first. We now had this position where I definitely knew that I was not worse, and I was really happy. But I played this move bishop f6, and I'm not sure it was the best, but I wanted to keep tension on this d4 pawn. I decided to start playing a5 to go for my a4 plan, and now everything that mattered was to play fast so that I wouldn't lose on time, and so that I wouldn't make any big mistakes when I was low on time. She only had 20 seconds more than me, so the game was about to become very intense. She played rook c2, keeping everything very together, and I played a4. I felt like my plan was relatively simple, and so far it felt really great. Her time was ticking, and what was she going to do? If she pushed b4, I would take on c4, and then her d4 pawn would become quite weak forever. She played the move bishop a3, which just simply lost a piece on the spot, as I could go a takes b3 and win the piece, as the rook would be hanging at the same time as the bishop. But I missed that, and I went rook e8 pretty quickly to not make too much of a think there. But that was a huge chance that I had to win against an extremely strong player. She played bishop c5, and now I was thinking, I ended up now taking on c4, which I also don't think was maybe the best, because I realized that her d4 pawn was going to become very weak, and was not going to become weak. And after I played the move e5, thinking that she couldn't play d5, I realized that she can now simply play d5, and now she has a passed pawn. And I was making these mistakes with little time, without realizing that a few moves prior, I could have won the game. I traded the bishops, but now this d-pawn was stronger than what one might think. And here I should probably go queen d6 to not allow the pawn from pushing, but I play this move e4 instead, thinking that she couldn't push, but she can push. And now all my pieces are gone from the back rank. She has a strong d-pawn, and the position is falling apart. I had 9 seconds on the clock. She had 17. And I was trying to flag her. She went for the move queen d5. I didn't know where to go with my rook. I ended up going rook b8. I'm not really sure why I didn't take on d6. I think it was because I didn't want her to take on f7. But now, once again, I could take, but I went for the move queen d7, which I thought was defending f7, but it's obviously not. And with 7 seconds left, she took my pawn on f7, and I ended up taking. I should have taken on d6, but now this was just a lost position. But I kept fighting, I kept pushing, she kept checking me, I was going back and forth, and we can see that the position is kind of turning around. It's not dead lost for me now that the d-pawn is gone. She was taking some pawns. I had 5 seconds on the clock. I tried to keep my both rooks together. I was bringing up my king. She was checking me. She was checking me even more. Now she took. I went for a check. I had 8 seconds on the clock, and I tried to defend, but after king f7, she found this move where I unfortunately was losing the rook, and after she took my rook, I resigned. But let this game be inspiration that even strong players can blunder, and you can always have a chance of winning a game. This woman, Mitra, she was going to beat Alexandra Kostenyuk the next game, who is one of the best female chess players in the world. She's a grandmaster, and even she lost to this woman, Mitra. So this was a huge chance that I had, but unfortunately, I ended up losing this game in the Women's European Blitz tournament. I was now on 1 out of 2 points, and game 3 was about to start.